Joe Biden is at a campaign event, and he's got his mask dangling underneath his mouth or whatever it is, and he's going on, and he's talking. And what he's trying to do is prove that Donald Trump is an unfit president. He's trying to prove that Donald Trump is unfit to be the leader of the country, of the free world. And he's trying to use the coronavirus crisis to prove that fact. And what he does is he gets out there and he talks about how bad and how deadly the coronavirus crisis has been. Here is what Joe Biden claimed yesterday during a campaign event.
Unnecessarily, now we have over 120 million dead from COVID.
Let me play that for you one more time in case it just like floated by you, went right over your head. Listen carefully.
Unnecessarily, now we have over 120 million dead from COVID.
120 million dead from COVID. Joe Biden announced yesterday during a campaign event, without batting an eyelash, that 120 million people in this country have died from COVID-19, from the coronavirus. Last count, we were at 100,000, 120,000. I think. They told me that by October, we were going to hit 200,000 deaths. Now, all of a sudden, it's up to 120 million, according to Joe Biden.
Unnecessarily, now we have over 120 million dead from COVID.
I thought we flattened the curve. I thought we were doing okay with this thing. I thought that the deaths, even though the new cases were going up due to the testing across the nation, I thought I was of the understanding that the death count was continuing to decline. But 120 million people have died. Let's do some Joe Biden American death math. Here's basically what happens. There's 328 million Americans currently, all right? 328 million Americans. If Joe Biden claims now that 120 million Americans have died from coronavirus, that's just about a third of the U.S. population. 1/3 of the people. If you're in a room with two other people, one of the three of you is dead now from coronavirus, according to Joe Biden. And that leaves only 208 million Americans. But let's not forget what happened earlier in this campaign when he was debating Bernie Sanders and the other Democrats, and he claimed that an exorbitant and untrue amount of people were killed from gun violence. Do you remember that?
150 million people have been killed since 2007 when Bernie voted to exempt the gun manufacturers from liability.
How many was that?
150 million people.
Wow, 150 million people. I forgot, since 2007. In the last 13 years, 150 million people have been killed in America from gun violence, which you remember what he said about it.
More than all the wars.
More than all the wars killed in 2000. It's Bernie's fault. More than all the wars. By the way, none of that is true, but let's stick with the math equation. 328 million Americans, 120 of them dead from coronavirus, and that leaves 208. Take out another 150 that were killed by guns in this country since 2007, and you've got just about, 58 million Americans left. There's only 58 million Americans left. That's like 1 million Americans per state. This is not okay. This is not, we make fun of it here. We laugh at Joe Biden because it's funny to see him be so ridiculous and make all these gaffes and say stupid things, but it's not funny. It is not funny that the Democrats have, in a serious bid to win the White House, propped up this guy who can't keep important numbers, like how many dead Americans there are and how many living Americans there are. This guy can't understand the difference between 120,000 and 120 million. He doesn't know how many people have died in all the wars combined and how many people have been killed by gun violence. He doesn't know what he's saying. His brain and his mouth are not connected. And when you're the leader of the free world and you're having high-level meetings with dictators and presidents of countries like China, which could wipe us off the face of the earth or destroy us economically, when you're out there trying to negotiate treaties, or when you're having high-level cabinet meetings about making decisions about things that could really affect the economy, what if Joe Biden meant to say, hey, you know what we should do? We should send out $1 trillion in stimulus checks, but he accidentally says we should send out $120 trillion in stimulus checks. we would be bankrupt. This is not okay. This is not okay from a politician. This is not okay from a president. This is not okay for a presidential candidate. And any Democrat out there, if you're a registered Democrat, you should be embarrassed that your party is offering this guy up and saying, he's the best we got. He may not know anything. He may not understand what's going on. He may have no grasp of reality, but we think he's the guy who's best suited to be president of the United States. I say bring it on, man. Go Joe. You can keep him out there. Send him back out for more campaign events because we need, times are tough. It's a sad time. A lot of people are depressed. Send Joe Biden out there every single day because we really need something to laugh at. We really need something to cheer us up.